What do I think about ICE? I I'm going to talk about like my Mexican people that are severe that came over to this country. I'm talking about like Mexicanos, not nobody else. Not nobody else I'm talking about. I feel like they deserve to be over here. I think they have earned their right to be over here. I think it was theirs first, especially in California, you know, in the bordering states. I think they deserve to be here. They work hard. They're kind to people. Their culture has influenced us in ways that white seasoning could never. And you know, like when I go to a different country, I don't go to a different country and be like, oh, I want a hamburger, or oh, I want some, what do they make? Some string beans and almonds. Oh, I want that. No, I say I want some tacos. I want some carne asada. I think that Hispanic culture has made a major impact in America, and I think we need our Mexicanos. I think that we should fully support them getting their paperwork.
We are a nation of immigrants. This country was not built by immigrants. This country was built by settlers who came here and built this country from nothing.
Are you under the impression that when the left talks about immigrants, do you think we're talking about like Christopher Columbus and his gang? Because you said that settlers came here and built this country from nothing. Let's get one thing very, very clear. Christopher Columbus and his little band of misfits were not settlers. No, they were colonizers. That's who they were. They were colonizers. And don't think I'm getting cutesy with the language. Just going by what the dictionary says. Colonizer, a nation or government that claims a territory other than its own, forcibly taking control over the population and resources located in that territory and usually sending some of its own people to settle there. See? Even the definition makes a distinction between colonizer and settler. So, if you were talking about the very infancy of the country that we call today the United States of America, no, it was not built by immigrants. You're correct. It was built by colonizers, forcibly taking things that didn't belong to them. If you're talking about the society that we know today, you're absolutely wrong. Immigrants 100% built the society that we know today. And if you think I'm wrong, go read a book.
So, across the US, a growing number of immigrants in the US are speaking out with a very clear message. We are not going anywhere. Many of them say they were invited, encouraged, and even recruited to come to America. They say they were told America, was a land of opportunity, a place where hard work would be rewarded, where families could build better lives, and where anyone willing to contribute could become part of the American story. Now, years later, some of these same immigrants feel like the message has changed. Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll, then I'll come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your own take in the comment section. So let's go watch what people are saying, then I'll come back with more commentary. Let's go watch.
What do you think about illegal immigration?
I go to school at TCU in Fort Worth, and immigration has always been bad, but lately we have seen such a surge of the Islamic communities coming into our towns and infiltrating them. In terms of like neighborhoods, we'll have entire marches. You walk into a neighborhood and you can smell, this sounds so bad, but you can smell like the Islamic culture. It is totally like infiltrated everything. The schools, and then it infiltrates who your children are being surrounded by when they're in the schools, what they're learning. This is not a peaceful religion as much as they would like to claim it to be. It is a totally harmful religion, especially to Christians. And I do think that us as Christians are under attack by the Islamic communities, and I think that the illegal immigration is a huge part of that, and we do need to crack down on that if we want to bring our Christian values back to America and not be afraid to do it.
First, what does Islamic culture smells like? And second, the wig. Need I say more?
Some of y'all are too young to remember or even know, but they begged immigrants to come here. They branded this country as the great American melting pot, and they begged immigrants to come here. They said this was the land of opportunity. They said that, you could have a house and a car and your kids could get a good education, and like you'd have a work-life balance. And from like, I would say the 70s to the 90s, honestly, before 9/11-ish, like they begged people. They branded, like there was a marketing campaign to get people to come here, to do jobs, to work. That was it. I just, the way this country looks, I remember elementary school. I remember them teaching us in school that this was the great American melting pot and that immigrants were the backbone of our economy. They begged people to come here. So this behavior is like, it just blows my mind. Like, I know how we got here, but it's just like, unless you were around back then, which is just the 90s, early 2000s, you don't understand. They begged immigrants to come.
The political climate feels colder, the rhetoric feels harsher, and for many immigrants, especially those who have spent years building lives in the US, the idea that they should simply pack up and leave feels deeply unfair. Their argument is simple. We have built this country too. For generations, immigrants have been part of the American economic engineer. They work in construction, agriculture, healthcare, technology, hospitality, and countless other, industries that keep the country moving every single day. From harvesting crops to running small businesses to writing software code, immigrants are woven into the fabric of the American workforce, and many of them point to one key fact that often gets overlooked in heated political debates: they pay taxes. Millions of immigrants, including some who are not yet citizens, pay federal, state, and local taxes. They contribute to social security systems they may never fully benefit from. They pay taxes, and of course, when they buy groceries, clothing, or gas, they pay sales taxes. They pay property taxes through rent or home ownership. In many ways, they argue they are participating in the same civic responsibilities as everyone else. So when some political or politicians or commentators say immigrants should simply leave, many of these workers feel that their contributions are being erased. What makes the situation even more complicated is the narrative many immigrants remember hearing before they actually arrived in the US. For decades, the US have, promoted itself globally as a place of opportunity. American movies, television shows, music and advertising have all helped build a powerful image of what people often call the American dream. The message has been consistent: work hard and you actually can succeed. That message have reached people across the world. Recruitment campaigns for international students, skilled workers, healthcare professionals, and seasonal laborers have reinforced that idea. Companies have actively searched for talent abroad. Universities have encouraged international enrollment. Some industries have openly depended on foreign labor to fill gaps in the workforce. And in other words, many immigrants feel they didn't just appear randomly at Americans' doorstep. They believe they were encouraged to come. That is why many are now saying that the conversation around immigration sometimes ignores the broader context. They argue that if the economy benefited, from their labor for years, then the country cannot suddenly act as if their presence was never part of the system. And yeah, some immigrants share deeply personal stories about the sacrifices they made to, move to the US, leaving families behind, learning a new language, working multiple jobs, starting at the bottom in industries where they had to, prove themselves all over again. For many families, the journey took actually decades, and children grew up in American schools. Parents worked long hours to pay rent and support their families. Entire communities formed around churches, neighborhood, and workplaces. Over time, their lives became deeply connected to the places they actually live, and to them it isn't just about immigration paperwork or political slogans. It's about uprooting entire lives that have already taken root in the country. That's why the idea of being forced to leave can feel devastating. At the same time, immigration, remains one of the most politically charged issues in American society. There are strong opinions on all sides of the debate. Some Americans argue that immigration system must be strictly enforced and that legal processes must be respected. Others believe reforms are necessary to reflect economic realities and humanitarian concerns. Anyway, guys, let me know what you all think based on these videos today. Let's have your own ideology in the comment section, and please do well to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that more people can see. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. See you all on my next video. Bye, guys.